Thank you. It's going to be really hard in 10 minutes to really hit all the points. So I'm just going to hit on a few. And if you have any more questions, we have a booth here. Please reach out. Forward-looking statements, of course, we'll be making all these. So let's just start with the capital structure. The structure of this company looks really, really good. 76 million shares outstanding and fully diluted only 82 million shares. We currently have $39 million in the bank, which gets me to pretty much to a feasibility level study. So we're in really, really good financial health. And then from an investor's point of view, a nice tight capital structure. If we just look at who's investing in me, and this is what I focused on, this is my 10th year, and I started out as an investor. I didn't mean to take this company over. I wrote a check, got frustrated, took it over, not prepared for how difficult and how long this would be. But here we are 10 years later. We stuck with it. We've done what we said we're going to do. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, just in the last 6 months, we become popular. But let's just focus on who's invested in me. And I think it says a lot. We just signed a partnership with Ocean Partners. That's my largest shareholder, own about 13.5% of the company. But they've also committed to about a third of my whole CapEx to build this out and gave me a contract to buy the ore. That's very important. So we're not hopes and dreams. We've actually got these contracts in place. Franco-Nevada is an equity holder, and we're the only company in the history of that company to buy a royalty with a company that had not a published resource. Kevin Jennings is somewhere in here in the building. He's our second largest shareholder. He's done all our financial modeling, but his last job per se was the CFO of Barrick Africa, more than capable to do these things. And then I'm just going to list a bunch of names, and they're all above 5% and higher. You're looking at Ross Beatty, which is rare to invest in companies like ours. Eric Sprott, Franklin Templeton is a new shareholder. They just came in December. Conway, the best performing gold fund in Europe. So again, really, really underpinned foundation of some very serious investors that are here for a transaction and not so much for a stock price to go up 30, 40, 50%. Team is everything. We've never really had anybody leave. We can't talk about team because I could do 10 minutes, but I want to point out the latest addition to our team, and that's Sean Massey. So Sean Massey's last job was the general manager of the Bruce Jack mine. And he operated that through the Pretium, into the Newcrest transaction, and into the Newmont transaction. And before that, he was part of the build of the New Afton mine. So we've got a through and through engineer in British Columbia who's built mines and operated mines in Canada. So I can't emphasize how great Sean is to join the team. Why would he come to a little company like ours when he's done such tremendous things? And I'll point out Thomas, our president. He's been with us for 8 years. We just won the highest exploration award that you can win in the Western Canada. It's called the Spud Heistus, and we're by far the smallest market cap company to ever win that. We just received that award last month at the roundup. So, we're all out here drilling holes, and we drilled 27,000 meters, which is a pretty big program for us last year. But also what we accomplished just last year is we came out with a maiden resource. We did the partnership with Ocean Partners, which includes a contract to buy my ore, a third of the CapEx. We've done a PEA, and I really want you to focus on the bulk sample. We just completed a bulk sample. We got that permit July 8th of this year, and we had that ore at the dock in September. We sold it in December, and we netted over $9 million on the sample. We used a road contractor to do that. Again, no efficiencies of scale. We started cold. It was a concept, but that gives the proof of concept when I go off to the next details of how we're going to make money for our shareholders here. But that bulk sample was a proof of concept. We shipped it ourselves. We got all the licensing. That went to Taiwan. And again, we netted over $9 million, which represents about 10 days of work in the model. So it gives a good example of what can be here in the future. We operate in Northwest BC in the Golden Triangle. Let's not spend a lot of time here, but about $7 billion have come into our direct area in the last 6 years. You've got a lot of recognizable names. So you're in a jurisdiction that's going to allow mining to happen. We're in the right area. Jurisdiction matters. We're obviously in one of the better ones. Everything in dark blue is our tenure. 100% paid for it. There is no earn-in. There's no JV. Our shareholders own that completely 100%. Up there in the top left is where Scottie Gold is. That's where we're doing all the work. But there's 6 other past producing mines on our tenure that we're not exploring right now. So my exploration potential, on top of what I'm going to show you on numbers, why there's good value now, is you're still getting a lot of torque for exploration potential on top of developing the deposit that we're working on right now. Road and power, town of Stewart. And the big advantage for us is we got a deep water shipping facility just 40 kilometers from our project. We have the second closest gold deposit on the planet Earth, as close as we are to a shipping facility like that. In fact, the closest is SCOT. There's nothing in South America, nothing in Africa as close as that to an actual established ore sorting or shipping plant. This is what Scottie and Blueberry looks like. Blueberry is in the white dot. This is what we're going to talk a lot. This is why we won that exploration award that we just had. So it was Thomas's imagining the geology and kind of changing a few things. And then as soon as we went with that new theory, we haven't looked back. And here's what some of that Blueberry looks like. Again, very, very high grade with really nice widths, right? And then so it's mineable. The next slide I'm going to show you is the exact same picture, but just looking at it from a different perspective. It's called the long section. And really what I want you to see is all that high grade gold starts right at surface, which means low development costs, and you're right at the money. Again, that bulk sample, we got that permit, we were blasting the week later, and again, we got 16 grams per ton. And we just eye sorted it. We didn't use the ore sorting that we're going to implement into our project. But the reality is we have a little MRE. I'm going to show that to you. But it really represents just the top 320 meters of that. We are still hitting the structure below that. We have gone down to 500 meters so far. We're still getting the grades. We're still getting the widths. We just don't have enough drill holes in that. It's very under drilled. This first MRE that we're going to show represents only 55,000 meters of drilling. And people are comparing us to companies with 300,000-400,000 meters. Here is Scottie Gold Mine. We're not going to talk about it because I'll run out of time. But again, a lot of potential there. That produced a 0.5 ounce per ton in the 80s. That was why I got initially involved or interested in this company. It's going really well. It'll come into the mine plan in about year 4. DSO. So we're going with a direct ship ore. Again, we're just 40 kilometers down that road to a port. Direct shipping lane to Taiwan, and that's where it goes. Again, if we were 500 kilometers away from that port, perhaps the model wouldn't work. But literally, we're making a 3-inch rock, put it on the port, off to Taiwan, and essentially, if I can get a product at 15 grams, which is kind of the goal, we receive just about 90% of the spot price of gold. So very, very good. No tailings pond, no mill to build. CapEx is quite low, $130 million. It's simple. It's a camp. It's a warehouse, a power plant, and an ore sorting plant, and that's it. And again, our largest partner is already committed to about 1/3 of that CapEx. So not a lot of money needed to complete this project. And if we're at feasibility in about a year's time from now, we're bankable. So again, a lot less dilution, and we're already at a very low share count. So here's what the financials look like. This is my DSO project. I've got about 2 minutes left here. If we use a $4,200 gold down at the bottom, you look at the NPV to CapEx, it's 5.2 payback in a half a year. We did our modeling at $2,600 gold. We still make an awful lot of money. The next slide I'm going to show you is optionality. There's a mill beside me that's had challenges. Now there's a new group in there. They put about $200 million. They're going to get that going. If that happens, my contract allows me to do DSO. I could do a little bit of both. I don't have to do one or the other. I have optionality. But we ran the numbers, and we just add about $150 million to the NPV of that. If I just drop those rocks at the mill right beside us, again, that gives a good negotiation if they get that mill going up and going. And that is not optimized. That's just using my DSO rocks. The numbers would probably be better because there's a lot lower grade that we could fill that mill with that just aren't economical for us to send over to Taiwan. So really, really exciting numbers, kind of crazy numbers when you really look at it. Upside. So, we have a resource that says 700,000 ounces, only 55,000 meters of drilling. We are completely comfortable now saying 2 million ounces. If you've known me, I've never ever said that before. I was always trying to show a pathway to 1 million ounces. We're very comfortable saying that we have a 2 million ounce target. If you look down at the bottom, those are not part of my resource, but we're having those robust grades to support that. Again, just under drilled. Project timeline, we should be in full production in 2028. We're halfway through all our long lead items like the baseline and the permitting and stuff, but we're not having any issues at it. We've been at it. We've put a lot of money into it. It's going quite well. We have a supportive community. We have a very supportive First Nations. They actually just bought the port. So again, we've actually paid them for shipping some of our ore. Again, that's the Nisga'a Nation. We do have a little bit of our tenure in the Ski-Kum-Laha. Again, I raised my family in that area. It doesn't give me a free pass, but I do understand the area very well. And I couldn't be happier with that relationship that we have. That's my 10 minutes. It's a great opportunity. And please just inquire for more information. This is something you don't want to miss.